Hey, everybody. Welcome to Let's Chat, y'all.
Hey, Leash.
Hey. I'm trying to get my seat right. Let me get my seat right. Get myself right.
We got to be right up in here. Let's chat.
Yes, ma'am. How was your week, girl, child? Week's been busy, ain't it?
I know. I got to look up, see what day it is, because they just be rolling.
Rolling right along. So, welcome to Let's Chat, y'all. We got so much to talk about. We're going to talk about a little tea because it's like so much tea in the news. I mean, listen, folks are talking about it, so is we. But go ahead on, open us up so we can get it cracking.
Absolutely. Here on the Tea Spiller, better known as Let's Chat. I'm just
we're entangled in the tea.
This entanglement we find ourselves in.
Listen.
Okay,
listen, y'all know what's funny. Y'all know y'all been entangled a time or two. Don't act like y'all ain't been entangled a time or two.
That's the word of the year. That's the COVID word, entanglement. Okay, y'all, let me get serious. I'm going to get serious, y'all. I'm serious. Okay. Zoop. Welcome, y'all, to Let's Chat Live. Y'all know it's Thursday. Lissha and I come up in here with our live show. We're trying to make it every Thursday. So welcome to all those that are just joining us for the very first time. And just to give you guys a little bit of what we do here on Let's Chat, Lissha and I first started our journey as readers. About 6-7 years ago, we had a radio station. We are readers first and foremost, but our show has evolved to incorporate all the dopeness of all the arts, and we celebrate it in a royal way. We allow our guests as well as our audience to get together in a fun, intimate, and friendly environment. We get to hear the passion behind what it is that they do, and boy, it gets passionate up in the chat room a time or two. So we want to thank you guys for joining us. For all those that are joining us for the first time, hello and welcome. We hope you guys are ready for a fantastic show. And I see our first guest, our one and only Miss Teresa Howell, is making her way into the chat room.
Yes. So before we kick it up with Teresa, because I'm interested to find out how she's feeling or what her thoughts is about entanglement gate. But sorry, Jada girl, I couldn't help it. But we on your side. Well, I'm on your side. I feel you, girl. So listen, her and Will came to the table, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess Hollywood has not kind of digested, or maybe they're just helping them to put the fire out. Because, everybody is commenting. Listen, Bill Bellamy, Nia Long.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
you name it, they have commented. 50 Cent, T.I. I mean, listen, let's just talk about this pettiness that's going on in the industry, y'all. So this is my thing with this. The best one that I
Okay.
have saw was Bill Bellamy. And what
Mm-hmm.
Bill Bellamy said was, just to kind of recap everything he said, because he kind of was hitting on it. At first, I was like, what? Then he kind of did hit on it. He said that it doesn't matter. He said Will Smith and Jada Pinkett basically is like a two-piece suit without the vest, just the jacket and the pants. Nothing else matters. So then he went on to say, it if you see a bike that's leaning on
Mm-hmm.
a house. Now, mind you see this bike, nobody ever rides it. It's just leaning on this house, and
Mm-hmm.
you keep going by this bike, and you like, ooh, who bike is this? This bike must belong to me. And you get on the bike. Now you riding around, and the owner of the bike comes around the corner. It's like, where my bike at?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is why I kind of gave him the side eye, but I'm going to continue. So he's like, well, the owner of the bike comes around, so he get in the car, he started looking for the bike. Hey, y'all seen my bike? And then somebody says, yeah, this dude comes every day and rides your bike every day. And so he was like, so he finds the guy and lets him know, well, the guy was like, well, I thought that was his bike. He said, no, that ain't his MFing bike. That's my bike, right? And so,
Okay.
right. And so he said he goes to the guy and says, get off my bike. That's my bike. And the guy is like, well, wasn't nobody riding it. It don't matter. That's my bike. Get off. So
It's
then,
still his.
right. So Bill Bellamy was like, get off his bike, dude. You got to get off his bike. It don't matter if the seat felt well to you. It don't matter how it felt when you was riding the bike. It don't matter how the bike interacted with you. If you and the bike was in the wind every day, you got to enjoy the bell. It don't, none of that matter when this man said you to get off his bike. So this is why I kind of gave that the side eye. So Bill, yeah, you. Are you trying to say that a woman that is your wife is equivalent to a bike or a Tonka toy that you can pick up whenever you feel like it? And then when you see somebody else playing with it and you see them enjoying that toy, now all of a sudden it's okay for you to say, can I have my toy back? You left the toy. You ain't want to play with the toy no more. Now, don't send me no inboxes. I'm just saying, if this was flipped around and it was a female and it was Will, would the conversation be different, T?
Well, Leash, there's always a double standard, and there's always that triple one that's the truth. It would not be the same. That's just a given. It's just my opinion. Don't come at me.
You're right. Don't send her no inboxes, because if you do, I'm gonna answer. Okay, I'm gonna answer. Don't come to T, because she's telling the
Y'all
truth.
know I be on the wayside, but it's just a given that men and women are treated differently. Whether they're doing the same thing or something totally different, they're always going to be viewed differently by the masses. And I think the masses tend to be more subjective to acceptance on the man's part.
That's right.
I'm just saying. Not that I agree with it, but
you ain't lying though.
It,
I mean, history. You can look at history. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I do agree when he said that, their relationship is their relationship. It ain't nobody business. Nobody
and
business.
That's me.
What they want to do,
it
ain't their business. However they do it. And so there was, and we're going to actually do a show, y'all. We're going to have a good show. Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee, they wrote a book, which I didn't know about this until I saw an article. It was an old article, but they wrote a book together. And they talked about how they had to adjust their marriage in order for it to last. And I was like,
I think I do remember something about that book. I never read it, but I had heard rumblings about the book.
Mm-hmm. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's just my thing. I feel that, although I felt where Bill was coming from, your woman is not a Tonka toy. And your man is
Mm-hmm.
not a Barbie doll. You leave that Barbie doll or that Tonka toy laying around for a long period of time, what your mama and daddy gonna do? They're gonna give it
Mm-hmm.
away. Somebody's gonna come and play with it. I'm just saying, you can't get mad. You left it. Now you left it
Mm-hmm.
there. You didn't want to play with it no more. You was tired of it. Now somebody else played with it and was like, "This is the best toy in the world. Who would just leave this toy sitting here?" Now listen, Will.
Oh my good.
Listen. Now I'm not on August side at all because that was an opportunist move that he made. Um, and if you go back in his interviews and his history, he has a history of this. He did it with
Mm-hmm.
Trey Songz. I mean, you name it, he has a
But
history of this.
but just listening to the way you opened up the whole Jada Will thing, there are so many different euphemisms that can be
Yes.
applied to
Mm,
just about every other word that you use, down from the toy down to don't play with it. I'm just saying the euphemisms, it's just loaded with them.
it is.
And I tried to keep a straight face as you were expounding. It's
Listen.
vocabulary night, people.
Hey, listen. I'm just calling a thing a thing, and that's what I saw, and that what I had, observed in observing Hollywood, Black Hollywood, speaking on it. And I did like Nia Long's comment too. She did a interview, and basically she said basically that's their business and leave them alone because they have healed. But when you heal for something, and then you ever know, or you ever have that moment where something you let it pass and then you start talking about it again, or you start seeing things and then you go back and put two and two together, and then now you mad
Mm-hmm.
all over again. That's Will.
Mm-hmm. You
And
doubly
Jada's
mad.
situation, right? So now he's extra mad because now everybody getting clowned, everybody in our business, and it's too much. It's an entanglement.
He
An
mad.
entanglement is
Mm-hmm.
is a bunch of confusion. It's
Mm-hmm.
a situation. I'm sorry, August. I would have taken entanglement over situation.
He mad. But Lish, I think you know me. I stay in my lane. I stay in my corner. But I think I may be one of the only few that didn't watch that because, I got a lot going on in my own life, and I have a lot going on. I got to maintain my own marriage to be worried about somebody else's. But that's
You,
just me,
you don't watch TV.
But girl, you know me and TV. You know me and TV, and I got a lot of work on my plate that I be entangled with.
Listen, speaking of TV, let's talk about it. Viacom and Nick Cannon. Did you hear about that? I know you heard about that.
I saw that, yes, and I,
Okay.
I I saw it. I saw that he loses more jobs than people can even
But
have in a career.
technically, he did not lose the job. I
They
mean,
what
really,
they fired him?
can you fire a boss? No, you
No,
cannot fire a boss. You can say you
no.
can't use my platform, but that does not
He just
mean
take his ball and go somewhere else
you
to another
can.
park to
I
play.
can't play in your basketball court. Cool. I'm gonna go play 2 blocks down. They'll let me and my
Hmm.
ball play all night long, 24/7, whenever we want, however many people we want. We don't have to play at your park.
As
I'm
my
here for
as my as he grows and gets bigger.
right. So this is the thing. My thing. I'm with Nick Cannon. I'm like,
Hmm.
what he said it the best way he could say it. In the
Hmm.
position that he's in, but he
Hmm.
didn't lie. He told the truth. And I'm sorry, Viacom, that you feel away. Now everybody's talking about boycotting Viacom. Well, Viacom owns BET and Nickelodeon. So are we
Hmm.
gonna stop watching BET and Nickelodeon now?
Hmm. Decisions.
I mean, because it's not like him and Viacom is the end of the road for him. He creates
Right.
a job. He is the king of creating his own lane. And I think that anything that Nick Cannon does is going to absolutely be successful, except for his music. Yeah, I said it. But I digress. He's a great poet. He is a great poet. He has great words. I don't know what's going on with the music thing, but anything that he puts his mind to, he absolutely does and makes money from and kills it.
He does. He does. He takes just a little bit and just makes it explode. And we've seen that throughout his career since he first came onto the scene. You know, everything he touches, he just grows from it, from the last one.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm excited to hear how Teresa feels about all that's going on and hear all about the great things that she has going on over there in TV productions, y'all. Let me tell you, Teresa B. Howell, she dope in real life, y'all. Y'all just don't know that, but she is. She is super dope. She does so much in front of the scenes, behind the scenes. She doesn't just write books. She's a playwright. She's production. She does a whole lot of things that are super dope. And so I'm excited to hear about the things that she has set up for us.
And she's been doing a lot since she was last visited us, Lee. So it's going to be great to catch up with her.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. So y'all in the comments, what y'all feeling? What y'all feeling? We can see the numbers, but if y'all don't comment, we can't really see what y'all saying. We can't see. Hey, LaWanda Johnson, how you doing? It was one other thing to talk about, but I'll say that to the next round. I'm gonna say that to the next round because there's a lot going on. There's just a lot going on in the world, ain't it?
It is. It is. It really is. Yeah, and this already July. 2020 has been not what I expected, Leash. Not what a whole lot of people expected.
You're absolutely right about that. So we have our, how you doing, LaWanda? We have our first fabulous guest. We're going to bring her on up in here to talk that talk with us. Hey, Miss Howell, how are you?
Wait a minute. Let me turn my volume up. All right. How y'all doing?
We doing
girl,
good. Child, because I know that you're the queen of petty, child. Let's talk about it. Red Table Talk. What you think?
Don't be telling people my business, okay? They don't need to know that I'm the queen of petty. That's private information. Well, look, I ain't the one that got it. You ain't heard it from me. But I want to be a little entangled myself. I know how she feels. No, no, but see, I think that their stuff should have remained private because of the age of the boy that she got entangled with at the time.
He opened up his mouth. They ain't volunteered the information. He made a decision to try to push his album and documentary. He made an opportunist move to try and revive his career. Yeah, I said it. Yes, he did.
See, I didn't know that part. I thought that she just, maybe it spilled out to the public in another way, and she just decided that she wanted to fess up. But
no, man, he spelled that. He spelled that, and it's the fact that it's 3 or so years old. You done dated 4, 5, 6 chicks since then. You mean you jumped over there to talk about Jada? Yeah, I said it. Don't send it in boxes. It was irrelevant. It was obvious that it was a move to boost his buzz about what he's got going on. He just didn't assume that they were going to respond because they don't normally respond to something like that. Right. That's my opinion. You didn't think they was going to say nothing. You thought they was just going to be quiet and let you move on and do what you do.
But you know what? I think that's genius. He knew when to deliver the information, even though it's bad. But the fact that he said, this is the time I'm about to boost my documentary, my album, whatever he had going on. And I got this nugget that I can save, this nugget. And I'm not going to share it with anyone until, I put myself out there. And so he knew that by using Jada, nobody cares about the other 4 or 5 girls because, they ain't Jada. So
they're irrelevant.
You're right, they're irrelevant. So that was nothing to talk about. But Jada Pinkett Smith, you mean to tell me that he had that opportunity to sleep with her? Oh, yeah, he was saving that for a rainy day. That was ammunition for him to get his stuff out there. I didn't even know who the child was until this happened. I'm gonna be honest.
Everybody says that. They're like, "Who is he? What's his music? I don't know him." That means that to me means he's a little bit irrelevant. Yeah, I said that.
Until now, he saved it for when it served him best.
He tried to.
But that's the genius part about it. That's why you have to give him those, because he just bumped up his career 5 notches by saving that little piece of information.
No, ma'am, I disagree. I will give him kudos when I see him on the top 10 charts. If he ain't on the top 10 charts, he don't get no kudos. So, and all of this thing, this you have started, I expect you in the top 10. I expect you getting a Grammy. I expect you getting a BET award. I expect you to go platinum. If you don't do none of that, you wasted time.
But there's a flip side to that, Leash, because his name is on the tongues of everybody. Whether his reaches that plateau or that level or not, people now know who he is and where he is in this music industry. And those that have touched him, or he touched. I'm just saying. But people know. But people know who he. Even I know. Leash. Even I know who he is now, and that says a whole lot.
Yeah, because I had never heard of him before. So the buzz is booming. Like he picked the right opportunity. And I believe if we weren't in a pandemic right now, if that would have came out, post-pandemic, to where she wanted to share her information, he probably would have got an even bigger buzz to where he might have been on the top 10 or the top 5 or whatever.
You're right.
Anybody think about him right now because everybody's, in the house dealing with COVID. But I believe if it was, some Hollywood, stroll down the sidewalk type stuff, like, oh, there goes.
What's his name? Y'all remember him? Who is that, child? You don't remember him?
But you best believe when they say his name, they're saying Jada's name. So, because again, like, just I forgot what his name was. Like, I just remember Jada's name. So,
he's be called Jada's Entanglement, and that's what he'll be going down in history.
He might as well named his album Entanglement. That's a good song for him to write.
That's a good one.
It's definitely a good book title for Christian fiction. I say that because I know some pastors that ain't got entangled. I know some pastors.
That's what I'm saying. Folks acting like they ain't never been entangled before. Like, what's an entanglement? Girl, we call it a baby daddy. Y'all know what an entanglement is. Don't act like you don't know what it is.
Look, that Pastor Wilson that had that video going around with that girl. Entanglement. Mm-hmm. Entanglement. So yeah, there's a lot of them. It is what it is, but yeah, it's been a lot of entanglement.
Mm-hmm. Child, listen. So Teresa, let us know what you've been cooking in your creative kitchen. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your literary journey for those that don't know who the fabulous Teresa B. Howell is.
All right. Well, I am an author. Recently, I put out a little plug for an album cover. So very soon, I'll be a singer. I started a production company recently. I'm known best in North Carolina for my plays, known nationally for my books. I am a Christian fiction writer. I like to say that I'm Christian fiction thriller suspense. It's not your typical Christian fiction. There's a lot of entanglements. And I am trying to move those books into film right now. Had a lot of success on moving them in front of the right people. So I'm working with some very prestigious and well-named folks right now. And, hopefully once this is all said and done, we can go ahead and shoot the movie, and, we can live happily ever after. And, maybe I can move to Hollywood and be fabulous, because that's my goal. So,
okay. You better speak that thing out there. Speak it out there.
I'm Look, listen, Lord. Look up in the sky. Listen, Lord. So those are the goals. So I've been on the move. There's a lot of things that I can't talk about that are happening behind the scenes. But just know that even though it's COVID-19, 2020 has been my year. So it's been a wonderful journey.
Yes, absolutely. So, and you've been writing too. Tell us about your newest book that's getting ready to come out.
Oh, Lord. So the name of the title is Pastor Delilah.
Woo! Y'all ain't seen the play Delilah, a whole hot mess. Go ahead.
Well, you've been fortunate enough. You came down here to see the play That Church Life, so you already know where my mind goes when it comes to the stage. So you can only imagine what Pastor Delilah will be like on stage.
Woo, she a whole entanglement, y'all. Listen, a whole entanglement, all by herself.
She created the entanglements. Okay, so yeah. It's a lot. It's a book that I have been working on now since probably last October, and it's stressing me out because I want to be very detailed in how she got where she got and why things are happening. So I'm very careful with this particular read, and I think it's something that really be. My goal is always to make it better than the last one and then the last one before that. So. I'm hoping that it'll be one of my best-selling. Well, the other ones were best-selling. No, that's not what I mean. I want it to be in a better writing form than the last ones, because although they were best-selling, I want my writing to grow. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of growth, Teresa, during this pandemic and our working from home, how has your writing changed? Do you feel that you worked on it, you've expanded on it? Do you feel that you've come out a better writer from this period of being locked down?
I don't know, because one thing about writers, we internalize a lot, right? And so being in the middle of a pandemic with people dying and people that are very close to you being very sick, it's really hard to actually focus on the writing. So although we have all this time and I should be writing every day, there's always a distraction with this pandemic. So the latest distraction is the school system's trying to figure out what they're going to do, and me being an educator, that's a stressful time for us. So writing hasn't been on the forefront like it should be, although I have all this time. Because of all the things that are going on around me. So it's not.
Now, have you been able to draw from this experience as to future material that you may be able to utilize in either a book or a playwright? Do you have any takeaways from it?
Not really, because most of the things that I write about are drama filled, here's the problem, let's have a solution type deal. I might be able to some of the Black Lives Matter with the protests and things like that. I might be able to incorporate that into the story, but the pandemic itself, I don't think I want to write about that, because it's been too much tragedy for me on my end. So. But yeah, I think the marching and the protesting and things of that nature, and lifting up African American males at this point, that's definitely something that could be easy to write about.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. And you know, I want to go back to the first time you wrote the first book you wrote. So that that church life. I want to go back. And we always talk about a go moment, and the go moment is when thought and execution come together. What was your go moment like when you decided to say, "I'm about to do this"? Because normally we're mindful about how we talk to other people and how we treat other people, and we kind of put ourselves last. So we talk ourselves out of great things that is placed in our spirit to do, and we give ourselves excuses on why we can't do it. So, what was that go moment like for you when you said, "I'm about to make this happen"?
So it took me a year to write that book. The go moment was actually death. My grandmother had passed, and someone came to me and said, you should be writing. It was like more of a prophetic type thing. They heard from God, and God said, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And I'm looking around like, do he really know me? Because I want to be a singer. I don't want to be no writer. But it took that moment of grief to, just one day sitting in a room and saying, I got to do something to keep my mind going. I don't know what it is. I don't want to, be a drug abuser. I don't drink. I don't want to go down that road, but I got to do something positive to keep my mind off of losing my grandmother. So writing became that therapeutic tool to use. And it was at that moment, it was like kind of like a do or die. It was either you do it or you're really going to sink deep into this grief. And so I had to get up. Yeah, I had to get up and do something. And so that's when that church life started.
And that's so true, because my mom passed in 2016, and grief is something that'll make you crazy. My mind was bad for a long time, and that was 4 years ago, and it probably the clouds was probably clearing late last year. You know what I'm saying? But grief is really hard, and you have to. The one thing I can say out of grief, like you said, comes change, because you start thinking about things, and you start thinking about their life, and if it was short, and how you can improve and live. Now you don't want to live life, when in grief it's hard to sit still. You got to move, you got to go, and so that means change is happening. And so you made that pivot, you made that change, you sat down and you wrote this book. What was the process like once you finished the book and you had to put it out to the masses?
Well, it's interesting enough that when I finally finished the book, my mother died. So my mother died in 2016 as well. Yeah, so it was like once she passed away, the book was finished. She died May 14th of 2016. The book got published May 27th, somewhere around there. But it was completed when she passed away. I just had to, handle, the funeral services and her estate and things like that. So it took me a minute to kind of download everything. But I couldn't wrap my mind around, gosh, my mother died, and now I'm about to put out a book about crazy church folks. Like, so, I kept getting, it was like an angel just said, no, you got to do it. 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 And once I put it out, it was probably the best thing that happened to me, because it didn't even take, what was it, Alicia, about 3 months when I went on that Virginia Good Morning show or whatever. That's around the time. Yeah, so it was about 3 months that the book was out, and then the next thing you know, I started booking television shows. It was crazy. So, I'm glad, but that also, traveling and being on television and going from state to state with, book signings, that was also part of the therapeutic process. Because me being an only child, I don't think I would have been able to sit still even with just writing when it came to my mother's death. So that was on like a whole nother different level. So
I was going to ask you about that, Teresa, because sometimes they'll put something in your way to kind of take you away from that grief, and you can grieve differently, especially on top of losing your grandmother. So he brings us through it. He definitely does. And it can be therapeutic because your mind is now on something else.
Yes. And so the book stuff kept me so busy, and I was working full time. So working full, well, I think it was that fall I decided to take a break from the school system. So I had a year of just traveling and doing book stuff. So I was able to really concentrate on that. But and that was only because it wasn't because I took off because of grief. The school shut down. So we ended up losing our job. So it was like, oh Lord, thank you, Jesus. I ain't gotta go to work no more. What you think? So so I took that time to really,
I was like, whoa.
I was real excited too.
Listen.
Because you know when the school shuts down, you still get a check, hunty. So
I know that's right. That'll work.
I was like, yes, close them doors, baby. Put the lock on it, and my box is in the car. It is not a problem. So that's how it went down. So I was able to really take that time and use it towards book stuff. And I'm glad that I did, because I got to see places that I would have never seen if I didn't write the book. I got to meet people that I probably would have never met before. Like I would definitely not know you all. And so it became a blessing in disguise. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to dig deep into this series, because That Church Life is now a series that's growing. It's creating legs of its own, which is what most authors want for their books. They want their books to create legs of their own. So what sort of person do you think is going to love the characters in this book? And what do you want them to learn? What do you want the reader to gain from reading it?
Oh. So let me just say this, because if I say it in a way that's coming to mind, I'm gonna have some church folks mad at me. So let me just
y'all be okay. Don't send her no inboxes, because I'm an answer.
let me sit up and square my shoulders and
Toss your hair back like, listen.
Yes, be a little distinguished, get a little Beyonce going on. I'm telling you, Lord, they be on me. They be on me. So, and I know that wasn't proper English. Y'all don't pay attention to the way I talk. I'm an English teacher. I do know the correct language. But so That Church Life was not supposed to be a Christian fiction book. When I downloaded it, I wanted it to be a mystery thriller suspense. You could not tell me that I was not the next James Patterson or somebody. Like, I just knew that's where I was going with it, right? But it was the Christian community that pulled it into that category. Now let me talk to the Christian community for a minute. Y'all put me in that category, and then when I get in that category, you got folks talking about ain't no God in this book. You ain't talking about Jesus. This ain't nothing but green leaf and da-da-da-da. But guess what? You read all 3 books. So there must be some green leaf in your church. Okay, my people. So I did go back once I realized the audience, because you have to learn who your audience is when you the first time you write a book. So I went back and I started making corrections, and I took out all the little curse words. It wasn't that many, but just a little things that Pastor might say every now and again when he get mad. And I made it clean, because I didn't realize that it would gravitate towards that direction. And when I saw that it was like top 10, top 20, I was like, okay, I really need to, for book 2, make this geared towards Christian fiction living. There has to be some type of outcome where somebody gets saved or something. So that's when my writing changed, when I realized who my audience was.
But Teresa, did it change the flavor of the book? I mean, it's not like those words are not heard, but did it change the flavor, and did it detract or attract different people to read your book?
it actually attracted more because Christian fiction readers do not like reading anything with curse words in it, even if it's 2 curse words in it. They're going to send you an email and be like, look here, I got to page 30, and when I got to page 30, and I know that animal, but I was offended, and I'm going to need you to go back and edit that. So, I was getting, these little hateful men. I was like, wait a minute, Sister Kay. So I had to go back and I had to read, and the fact that I was married to a minister, like, yeah. So I know I'm so petty, Lissha. The fact that I was married to a minister, I guess I needed to walk right, because there were some people in the church that they wasn't feeling my book. They were like, why this girl? Why owes all this stuff? And then they started wondering, is it us? Are you talking about this church? Which church you talking about? Is that? Before I knew it, it was like these church book clubs that approached me first. It wasn't like the regular book clubs. It was all church book clubs. So I'm like, can you come talk to us? Because we want to know why you said this. So yeah, it did change the dynamics of how I wrote.
Okay.
I was okay with being clean. I was okay with gearing towards that audience. Because being in church all my life, it wasn't hard to do.
Okay.
And it stopped emails. It stopped, I ain't got nobody leaving the church ready to beat me. So, we good.
And that's good. That's good. It gives you pause to think, before you put it out there.
You're right.
It does.
Now,
it does.
As your career grows and it expands, because your territory is expanding, it's enlarging. What is it that Teresa B? What is your vision? Where do you see it going? All the way around completely with your production company, your books, your movies. I mean, tell us where you see yourself in 5 years.
Well, you know how it's kind of like those athletes. Like let's use LeBron for an example. You don't know that you're making a difference in someone's life or being a role model until they tell you. So when you're going down a path and you think it's the right path and you think that's what you're supposed to be doing, but gradually things start to turn in your favor. Not that the changes were bad, but the audience let me know, hey, you're a strong Black woman. We like what we see. We like what you're doing. You are meant to encourage other African American women, and they're watching you. They're watching you. So with them watching you, that means that you have to be a role model. So when I realized that, because I ain't know nobody was watching me. I just got a couple of threatening emails. I ain't paying nobody no mind. But when I realized that I was being viewed like I was under a microscope, now the Christian fiction community was like, okay, what's she gonna say next? What's she gonna do next? I hope that this ain't gonna be like that character Missy, because God knows Missy drove me crazy. And so I started to really evaluate my writing and what I put out there. Because at the end of the day, it's all about a legacy. It's all about making sure that you mark. And I don't want to be one of those writers, 15 years from now, where we should be on here talking about, that Teresa Howell was so petty. She wrote that book about no, and I can hear her saying it too. So
I would not do that.
You wouldn't do it in public, but you sure would call me and tell me. You'd be like, girl, it was so petty. Oh my God, you so petty.
She is petty, y'all.
I like imitating her voice. My dad said that I missed my calling and being a comedian because he said I can imitate anybody's voice, but I got Lissha's down pat. So Toni, let me get
You
yours.
just
Let me
hit
get
it.
yours. 'Cause y'all ain't too far apart from how y'all sound. Let me get you. I got you.
That's what we've been told, that we sound alike. But with Teresa, with so many people looking at you, and especially for role model and encouragement, who are you looking to? Who inspires you to be better?
Oh my goodness. So everybody and their mother and daddy knows that my inspiration is Oprah and Tyler Perry. I scream it from the mountain, put it on post. I email them when they don't email me back. I hashtag them even look at my post. Tyler Perry and Oprah, they know that I'm going to be standing in front of their door one day. I just can't tell them because I don't need the popo to be there waiting for me. But yes, those are my two idols that I dream to see one day. And most people they have those dreams of, I just want to meet them. I actually have the dream that not just to meet them, but I want them to be looking for me. I want them for
That's
my
right.
name to be to them. They want to know who I am. And so those are the two people that I look up to the most, because I love their stories and how they made it to the top. And I hope to one day be that person.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And also not just to dream the dream, but you want to live your dream. So you got to speak it out there and put it into existence. Let them know, you do what you do and they will come knocking on your door. So you got to live the dream, and that's that dream to dream.
Right. So there's a lot of knocks on my door lately. Not
not them.
Yeah.
Not them.
Hasn't been them, but it's been a lot of knocks. So, hopefully one day they'll knock. I'm just sitting TikTok. And when that day comes, I'm gonna swing that door so wide, and I'm gonna be calling Lissha. I'm like, oh my God, girl. And she's like, oh my goodness, Teresa. Is that really Oprah? Put her face, do a FaceTime. Let me see.
Ask for her ID first. Look, ask for her ID first when you open up the door. Who that is.
She gonna want proof. You can't just tell her that it's going on. She will see it. So
and bring her on. Let's chat.
Right.
Exactly. They will be your next guest after that visit. Trust me.
Listen. So, what's next on the horizon? What are you headed into? I know you mentioned movies. You have another book coming out, but then you have another book coming out as well, because you did like a self-reflection type book. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Positive Vibes Only Part 2. That's about relationships. And so what I've been doing is it's like a 31 day affirmation book. And it kind of models the part 1. And I've been putting out questions on Facebook, kind of getting the opinion of the public. What would you do if you was in this situation? And, if you were in a relationship and everything was going well, and then, your mate or spouse started having mental health issues, like, what's your next move? Like, you gonna stay, you gonna go? And I've been taking that information and compiling it into this book. So I'm on question 21. So I only have a few more days to go. And once I finish that, I'm going to publish that. But it's like, I'm trying not to come out with so much stuff at one time. Because after a while, people get sick of hearing about you. They be like,
you want them to chew on it. You want them to chew on each thing that you drop. And if you don't give them time to chew on it, then they're going to choke.
Yes. And so that's why, I've made certain announcements in certain arenas, but then I might not have made that announcement on a public page, or I might not have put it on one of my fan pages, because I'm trying to do things slowly, piece by piece by piece. So like if you're in one arena and you've never heard of me before, then I can I can tell you about my books, and I can tell you where my books are going. But I can't say all of that to the audience that's been watching me for 4 years, because they're like, oh, we already know that. We already know you wrote that Church Life Girl. We tired of hearing about me. So, I'm trying to do it in steps, and I don't want nobody to choke But it's a lot of stuff that's coming out. So I'm just trying to do it piece by piece, to the point where you hear the buzz continues, but the buzz isn't getting on your nerves. It's
right.
not.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
But you also want to know. You also want to know, Teresa, you want to play to your new audience as well, because you never know where readers coming in at what point in your literary journey. You can have new readers every day, but you also have, seasoned readers. So you also want to, work towards them as well, and not just the existing audience. You want your work to last a lifetime, and always think about picking up new readers.
Right. So the way I'm doing that without just keep flashing my books, is when I started this this show called Amplified Exposure Live. You have people that are seeing that, and I have like some C celebrity, or Kimberly Lawson Roby. I'll say all day she was a celebrity. I had hosts that I hosted this show where I've had guests come on that are really well known to readers. And so once readers see our connection, then they go and say, "Whoa, who is she? She got some books out?" And then that's how I connect them to my books, instead of everybody seeing the same content over and over and over again.
Right.
Absolutely. I definitely love it. But here on Let's Chat, we like to do something a little fun.
Oh my goodness.
But because, we love the fact that it's all about packaging when it comes to books, honestly. And your who you are, your why for what you do. Not only does it open doors to people that have never experienced your pen, but those that have experienced your pen, it causes them to appreciate it more. And so we love to be able to just showcase the talent behind the pen, so that people can expand it, and then your legs can walk a little farther. So Tony gonna give you a fun question. I don't have nothing to do with that. I don't pick the questions. I don't know nothing about it. I'm just here.
Wait a minute. Y'all done treated me like this before. Wait a minute. I don't know if I'm ready for these questions. Wait a minute. Let me sit up again. Y'all
throw your hair back, girl. Throw your hair back.
Okay? Wait a minute. Okay. So I remember them questions from the last time, and I was like, no.
That's what you mean.
What you do, Teresa?
I don't know what you're saying.
No.
It's all good. We come at you with just full of love. But it's fun. It's a brain teaser. Girl, you got this. Well, first of all, Teresa, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. We always love when you come visit us, and we appreciate you spending some time with us. You ready? Okay,
no, I'm really not ready, but I'm ready. So
You got it. Okay. You're in a cabin with no electricity. Come nightfall, you have a candle, a wood stove, and a gas lamp, but you only have one match. What are you going to light first?
Candle, a gas stove.
And you got a candle, a wood stove, and a gas lamp with only one match. What are you going to light first?
I know.
Want to light up. So wait a minute. Did you say gas?
You had a gas lamp. You got a gas lamp. Okay, you got a wood stove, and you have a candle, but you only have one match. Which one are you gonna light first?
I'm gonna light up the candle.
Is that your final answer?
I don't think that match can handle all that wood, first of all. I'm not going to light up nothing that's gas-based. So, yeah, I'm scared, though. I'm really scared. That's my answer.
You know what you're going to light first, girl? the match.
We love
And
you.
you say, I'm petty. You say I'm petty. Hey, that was real petty. That was on some.
Girl, I'm crying.
Oh my God. Listen. I don't know. Look at her face, and that ain't even a real smile. She just like, y'all can skip that.
I know how y'all get down. Mm.
You're not surprised. Look, I'm crying. Look at me. I'm crying.
And you know what? Questions like that, y'all get me in trouble because my students be on here watching me and they be like, Miss Howell.
Like, why didn't you get that, Miss Howell? Why didn't you get that? That was so easy. You gotta like the match first to like anything else.
But you know what?
You gotta come back. You gotta come back.
I will say that speaks to, as I think adults, we tend to think, we don't think basic, we think outside of the box. Like, we're always thinking. And so we don't think about those minor things that, okay, well, is it really not that serious? Okay, what we can do. We're thinking of how can we maximize on what we got to do. We got 3 things. We in the woods, we in the dark. Let me figure out how to make it happen. And we don't think about those small things. Honestly, as adults, we do not. We're always thinking about how can we make it happen. Well, I got to make it happen.
She's trying to make you feel better. She's trying to make you feel better. You like the daggone match first.
I'm telling you, when school starts back, there's going to be a student that watched this and they're going to say it to me again and I'm going to forget the answer. And they're going to be like, Miss Howell, you tell me that again. So, you know, somebody is going to play me in a few weeks. But
you got to let us know.
Yeah, I sure will. I sure will.
You got to let everybody know where they can get your books before you walk out of the chat room, all of your social media handles, your website, any interviews or events or virtual events that you have coming up, and when they can get your next set of books.
I have 3 social medias, well, maybe 4: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and they are all author Teresa B. My website is teresabhowell.com. You can look me up whether you're looking for Teresa B or if you want to look up Teresa B Productions and you want to know more about some of the things that my company is doing. We also have a page for that. And also we have a page for Amplified Exposure where I save the interviews for guests, and it will also be streamed in a couple of weeks on Roku and everywhere you can possibly stream stuff. My books are wherever books are sold. If you go into a Walmart or a Barnes and Noble, if they don't have it on the shelf, they definitely have it in their system where they can order it. My next book, Pastor Delilah, should be coming out in November. But it's going to be a trail of things. The single should be coming out in October. The book should be coming out in November. Positive Vibes 2, hopefully I can finish that within the next month. And then December will be some reveals about production. So if you want to reach me as far as have a personal conversation or you have some questions, you can email me at info@teresabhowell.com.
I love it.
Now, we got some people in the chat room agreeing with you. Gibbs says, y'all play too much.
You see, I can't even focus. Like, I'm really mad that I didn't get that. I can't with y'all. I can't.
Wait till next time, Teresa. Wait, I got more, girl. I got more.
Oh,
See, the last time I came on, it was something about a belt, and what am I gonna do with that belt and something. And first place,
know.
Oh no! Because last time you came on, we do, for all those that are just tuning in, we do what's called live excerpts. And so we give them props, and in those props, they can add those props to a scene in their book. They can take it any genre, any direction they want. So then we give you 2 or 3 props, and you create a dialogue.
So that's what that is. It depends on how I'm feeling, Teresa. I don't know. I want to do props, riddles, brain teasers, depending what type of day I had.
I see. And I was really expecting, I was like, okay, what's she going to tell me to do with this candle? Because last time she told me to do something that helped. So I really thought it was going to be something totally different. But I see how you work. I see how you work.
It's the Let's Chat experience. You never know. We got to keep you guys on your toes, Lissha and I.
You did a good job. You did a very good job on keeping me on my toes. that caught me off guard, for real.
Till next time, Teresa. Till next time, girl.
We so appreciate you coming and kicking with us here in the chat room. You know you are welcome back anytime. Y'all make sure y'all tune in to Amplified Exposure. Let them know when that comes on social media.
Oh my God. So Amplified Exposure is having a show. It normally comes on Mondays and Fridays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we are having a special edition tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because the She Shed guy, who is Reggie Corelli, is coming on to cook for us. So join me in about the next 50 minutes to talk to Reggie.
All right.
Have fun with that.
Yes.
Have fun with it. We appreciate you, Teresa.
Thank y'all. And I'm so happy to see your faces together than just hearing your voices, because I always got confused on who was who. So this is a great platform.
You're not alone. Everybody gets us confused when we talk on the radio.
Yeah. God bless y'all. Thank you for the interview.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
She's awesome, Leash.
Absolutely.
There I am. Where am I? Up there I am.
You know what, y'all? We appreciate y'all coming to kick it with us in the chat room. Y'all know we be up to some shenanigans half the time. Shenanigans goes on here all the time. We got to take a brief break, and we will be back with the king of cliffhangers, Andrew Hess.
All right. We'll be back.